Hello everyone, I'm Brian. Today we're reacting to Swami Vivekananda, The Power and the Glory. Swami Sarvarpriyananda. Anyways, I saw this, I was like, let's give this video a shot. So let's go ahead.
Om Namah Shri Yatirajaya Vivekananda Surai Satchid Sukha Swarupaya Swamine Tapaharine. Namaste and good morning, everybody. What a turnout. Yes, this is Vivekananda. I was just thinking, looking at the turnout, the power is alive and well and shining forth ever brighter. Yes, the theme is light and luminosity. There is at the heart of all things an unlimited radiance. We Hindus call it Brahman, Satchidananda, existence, consciousness, bliss, limitless awareness. We will begin there. That's the beginning of all things, and our story begins there. In that limitless radiance, there are these 7 great sages, we believe. These are immortal beings who are ever immersed in that reality, that one existence, consciousness, bliss. They are ever immersed in meditation, in samadhi on that reality. Now, what happened was, from that mass of luminosity, light, it condensed into the form of a divine child, a little child. And this little child comes to one of those great sages who is in samadhi, in ever eternally in contemplation of the absolute reality, existence, consciousness, bliss. This child comes to his sage and gently awakens the sage to an awareness of the child's existence. And the child says to that sage, "Look, yonder world, the world of men, is under darkness and suffering. I go there, and you too must follow." And the sage silently assents to it. And this child goes to the world of human beings, our material world, as a ray of light descends towards this world. It sounds like some kind of, Star Trek beaming down some, but it's not outer space and this world. It is that luminosity, that radiance is here. For those who have eyes to see, this is it. And we do not see that, then this is it also. This material world of people and places and things and samsara and world, this is very, very reality. This is where that child appeared. Years later, this young boy, young man, Narendranath Datta in Calcutta, the city of Calcutta, who was in search of God. He would go around asking people, "Have you seen God?" And people give different answers, religious leaders, philosophers, until he found one. Somebody said to him, in fact it was a British professor of English in his college, in Scottish Church College, who said to him that this ecstasy, this divine communion, there is a man who experiences this. He lives very close by. He is Ramakrishna Paramahamsa in the temple of Dakshineshwar. And so Narendranath goes there. This young man steeped in Western ways of learning and thinking, but also with a deep spiritual quest. He goes there, meets this person, and Narendranath Datta, he says that my first impression of Sri Ramakrishna, and for a long time that was the impression, that he's crazy. But there is some kind of extraordinary attraction he felt. He said, "For me, Sri Ramakrishna was love personified, Love, love personified." This incredible attraction he felt to this utter luminosity of this person, and the radiance, the utter purity of this character. He said, "I thought he was a monomaniac. All he thought was God, God, God." And when he went and met Sri Ramakrishna, Sri Ramakrishna calls him aside. He said, come to the side, from the view of men, come to this outside the door of his room in Dakshineshwar. And he says to him, Sri Ramakrishna, the madman of God, says to this young college boy, how long I have waited for you. Where were you? You are the sage, the Nara Rishi. And I says, I bow down to you. You have come for the welfare of humanity. Narendranath Datta, of course, thought he's crazy. He said, I'm the son of Vishwanath Datta of Calcutta. What are you talking about? Sri Ramakrishna just smiled, and he touches this young man on his chest, and the world seems to whirl and disappear into a vast luminosity. Of course, Narendranath Datta doesn't know anything of this. He is terrified. He said, stop, what are you doing? I have parents at home. And Sri Ramakrishna, he smiles and he says, oh well, it will happen in its own time. Let it be for now. It's that luminosity, that divine child. All of this we know how? Sri Ramakrishna himself said so. He told his other disciples, you know who he is. This is that sage in that realm of the absolute, ever immersed. So we Hindus think of the night sky and the seven Saptarshi, the stars. We sort of symbolize the seven sages by those. It's very poetic, ever shining. So he is one of them, and he has come for the welfare of humanity. And of course, we all understand then that the divine child, that luminosity itself condensed into a child, and that divine child must be Sri Ramakrishna himself. But what Sri Ramakrishna did also was, he locked this knowledge in Naren's mind. He said, I'm locking this, the key is with me. You have to do mother's work, and then it will be open to you again. This is one of the ways of understanding Vivekananda, that all his life, after Sri Ramakrishna, till his eventual Mahasamadhi, he was actually pounding again and again against this door which was locked. He knew this is the secret of his existence was there, but he couldn't break through. And Sri Ramakrishna, and he says the mother made him work. Kali, she made him work. She brought him down for her purposes. He said, but just a minute, didn't you say the divine child is Sri Ramakrishna, and Sri Ramakrishna brought him down for his purpose? They are the same, Kali and Sri Ramakrishna. Vivekananda gives this answer. He says, Sri Ramakrishna was Kali. She worked up the body of Sri Ramakrishna for her purposes. I am sure of it. For Vivekananda, as for Sri Ramakrishna, the real nature of God is feminine. He says, in this world, in this universe, there is a power which thinks of itself as female. What is this power? In another place, Vivekananda writes that, you know what God is? This vastness, just as we are individuals, all these individuals, society, not just human beings, all living beings, all of it taken together, the sum total of all souls is the only God I know and bow down to, Vivekananda says. But it's not just a collective. This is the secret of God. It says it is also it is a person. Just as we are persons, this entire collective is a person with a capital P. That is the personal God, Ishvara. That is worshipped as Mother in India. And that Mother, it's Shakti alone who comes as avatars. When we say avatar of Vishnu, but it is the avatar of Shakti. All manifestation, this entire universe, and even the manifestation of God in this universe, which is the secret of the avatar or incarnation, is Shakti, is the Divine Mother. So she alone comes as incarnations, as avatars. Beyond this is that mass of light. Vivekananda writes, beyond even the personal God is what we call Brahman. There is no distinction of individual and cosmic. It's individual and total. There it is entirely impersonal. There you are the same Brahman. I am the same Brahman. And everybody else is that same Brahman. There God and the individual are one and the same. At our level, individual and cosmic are not one and the same. Just as I am not all. You are not all. The all is God. The individual is us. But beyond the individual and the all is the cosmic, is Brahman, one absolute existence consciousness bliss, which is that mass of light, which is the only reality that exists and appears as all of this. A lot of philosophy there, but that's the story actually. And at the very end, Vivekananda, did he ever realize who or what he is? He knew. He also knew that he had something to do. That he knew. That there was a mission to fulfill. That he knew. But even before he went, he came here to the West. The song we heard, that the Divine Mother is telling him there is something that you must do. So the mission that he accomplished, because of which we are here today. We are standing here, we are worshipping, we are observing the birthday of Swami Vivekananda. Why Vedanta is here in the West, why all of Indian spirituality is here today in the West and all across the world, why human civilization is what it is today, all of that. But Vivekananda always struggled to find out who or what he was, that secret. He always knew that he had something to do. He always knew that his time in this world is limited. When one of his well-wishers, an American lady here, wrote to him, cautioning him not to speak so boldly and so forthrightly. And he wrote back, "Madam, I have a message to deliver. I am in a hurry. I have no time to be sweet. I have a message to deliver, and I shall do so after my own fashion." The reason I got this book, generally I don't read out from books, but there is a letter, I want to get it right, exact words of Vivekananda. It's so powerful and beautiful. And when I got this book, I was reminded, we had this wonderful senior monk, Swami Mumukshanandaji, who passed away a few years ago. Very saintly, very pure soul, very humble, very scholarly. Now, when he would come to teach in the class or give talks, he would come with this many books, with all carefully bookmarked because of the quotations. He wanted to get it precisely right. And I remember we as young monks used to make fun of him. I mean, we wouldn't, not to his face, of course, but we would find it very, very funny that he would come to give talks with a bundle of books. And now I'm doing the same thing. I must be getting old. So here is a letter towards, not at the very end, but towards the end. This is in 1900 from California. He's writing to Josephine MacLeod. Josephine MacLeod, one of his staunchest supporters. I have to say supporter, because not disciple, because she never said she was a disciple of Vivekananda. And Vivekananda also agreed. He said, she came to me complete. Josephine MacLeod would always say that I'm a friend of Vivekananda, and I support, I help. Long after Vivekananda had passed, she continued to work for Vivekananda's cause. What can I do for you? Vivekananda would say, I think he said this to Josephine MacLeod also, can you love India? Did he say this to Josephine MacLeod? To one of his disciples or friends, he said that. But this is what Josephine MacLeod did. One of the most touching things all her life. She was very well connected, very high society, and she always had what would be considered designer clothes in those days. And she was just like Vivekananda, incessantly traveling, but she was not very rich. Whatever money she had, she kept on madly saving because she wanted to always donate and give to the cause. But one of the most touching things I've read about her is a tiny little anecdote. Is in one of her visits to India, in her old age, she is sitting in Belur Mutt, out there in the hot sun. There were some laborers, manual laborers, working. These skinny, dark, sweating men working hard, very poor, struggling and working hard. Some kind of construction work was going on. She's sitting there and watching. One of the monks came to her and said, what are you doing here? And she said, I'm loving India. I'm loving India. That's what she did all her life. Long after Vivekananda had passed, she dedicated her entire life to this. And she did so much in so many ways she helped the Ramakrishna Mission, and India in general. All right. So here is a letter written to Josephine MacLeod. This is 18th April 1900 from California, Alameda, California. Here he writes how he's beginning to withdraw himself. After he's already done, the World Parliament of Religions is over, his spreading Vedanta across the United States is over, starting the Ramakrishna Mission, the monastery in India, establishing Belur Math, writing the books, publication, all of that is over. Now he writes, I am well, very well mentally. I feel the rest of the soul more than that of the body. The battles are lost and won. I have bundled my things and am waiting for the great deliverer. Shiva, O Shiva, carry my boat to the other shore. After all, Joe, he used to call her Joe. After all, Joe, I am only the boy who is to listen with rapt wonderment to the wonderful words of Ramakrishna under the banyan at Dakshineshwar. That is my true nature. Work and activities, doing good and so forth are all superimpositions. Now I again hear his voice, the same old voice thrilling my soul. Bonds are breaking, love dying, work becoming tasteless. The glamour is off life. Now only the voice of the Master calling, I come, Lord, I come. Let the dead bury the dead, follow thou me. I come, my beloved Lord, I come. Yes, I come. Nirvana is before me. I feel it at times. The same infinite ocean of peace, without a ripple, a breath. I am glad I was born, glad I suffered so, glad I did make big blunders, glad to enter peace. I leave none bound, I take no bonds. Whether this body will fall and release me, or I enter into freedom in the body, the old man is gone, gone forever. The guide, the guru, the leader, the teacher has passed away. The boy, the student, the servant is left behind. The sweetest moments of my life have been when I was drifting. I am drifting again. With the warm, bright sun, the bright, warm sun ahead and masses of vegetation around, and in the heat, everything is so still, so calm. And I am drifting languidly in the warm heart of the river. I dare not make a splash with my hands or feet for fear of breaking the marvelous stillness. Stillness that makes you feel sure it is an illusion. Oh, it is so calm. My thoughts seem to come from a great, great distance in the interior of my own heart. They seem like faint, distant whispers, and peace is upon everything. Sweet, sweet peace. Like that one feels a few moments just before falling into sleep. When things are seen and felt like shadows, without fear, without love, without emotion. Peace that one feels alone, surrounded with statues and pictures. I come, Lord, I come. The world is, but not beautiful nor ugly, but as sensations without exciting any emotion. Oh, Joe, the blessedness of it. Everything is good and beautiful, for things are losing all their relative proportions to me, my body among the first. Om, that existence. In almost the very end of his life, somebody asked him, somebody was discussing this, what Sri Ramakrishna had said about Vivekananda. And somebody asked Vivekananda, do you know what Sri Ramakrishna meant, when he said these things about you? And Vivekananda said, now I know. And everybody fell silent because Sri Ramakrishna had warned them that do not talk about this to him. If the day he knows who he is, he will leave this body and go back to that realm. And that he did. He asked one of his disciples, this was 1902, asked one of his disciples, select an auspicious date from the Indian calendar. And when he came to that date, and in a particular date, Vivekananda said, stop, let it be. And that date corresponded to the 4th of July in the English calendar. The Independence Day of America, which he so loved. It's not a coincidence that he would select the date of his departure from the world, freedom from the body, freedom from the material existence, and the Independence Day of America. Again, very, very much in keeping with his philosophy, his the deep non-dual philosophy. It's not that there is a spiritual world and there is a secular world. It's one reality.
I guess just kind of what a coincidence. I know I didn't talk very much, but there's really nothing to say. It's a story. I have no input on it. But it's very interesting. I guess that's kind of the last thing he wrote, and then him passing away during American Independence Day. It's very, very just coincidental for sure. It's not to say that American Independence Day. I mean, anyways, that's spectacular or something. It's just coincidental. All right, yeah. There's not too much to say, and I guess it's kind of interesting that the other videos of Swami Vivekananda talks about how he seems to get I don't know if get along is the right word, but I guess influence a lot more women in America, which seems to be very true because there seems to be just a lot of notes between him and women, and I wonder why that is, though. During those times, was there any? I'm sure there's a few men, but I guess women tend to, I suppose, at least in this time frame, tend to be more connected to him, I suppose. And I'm curious as to her story as well, especially. I don't know, but just kind of like a brief understanding of what she did to help out, and then was she married or not? And then did she go when she went to India? Did she bring her husband if she was married, or what did she do over there? Because Swami here said that she did a lot in terms of the mission in the United States as well as in India. I'm just kind of curious as to what did she do. But anyways, I'm gonna pause pretty soon, but let's see what else he has to say.
The Upanishads and the American Constitution, Declaration of Independence, they're all spiritual documents. This is the great teaching. We'll talk about that later. On his walk with Swami Premananda, as walking through the monastery which he had established on the bank of the Ganga, in one place he shows that when I pass, cremate me here, burn my body here. Now he was only 39, so nobody took it too seriously. He was not keeping well at all physically. But on the 4th of July in the evening, when the Vespers, the Arati was over, he sat for meditation and he passed. He left the body consciously, deliberately. And of course, the body was cremated in the place where he had pointed out to Baburam Maharaj Swami Premananda. That's where now the temple of Vivekananda stands on the bank of the Ganga.
Huh. I would like to see that.
That was the beginning and the end. I would say an end. It's not really the end, because the story continues even till today. But that is not the subject of today's talk. From glory he came and back to glory he went. But our talk today is, or the subject is what happened in between, the display of Shakti, the power which he gave us, which we are benefiting from even today, standing here, talking here about him. So what did he do?
Okay, I'm gonna actually pause it right there. That's a perfect time. As a matter of fact, after this video, I just kind of want to see what I believe you said it was the temple, right? Or was it a monument?
Not keeping well at all physically. But on the 4th of July in the evening, when the Vespers, the Arati, body, consciously, deliberately. And of course, the body was cremated in the place where he had pointed out to Baburam Maharaj Swami Premananda. That's where now the temple of Vivekananda stands on the bank of the Ganga.
Okay, definitely got to look that up. I'm wondering if it's one of the temples that I've seen in those temple videos. Anyways, I know I didn't say very much here, but it was a story after all. There's not much I can really say. I mean, it's a story. I can't say, no, that story's wrong. So it's just interesting. I do love the stories, and I definitely got to look up that temple. Anyways, this is my reaction so far for the power and glory of Swami Vivekananda. If you like my content, please consider subscribing, thumbs up, thumbs down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vid.